Hey everybody, it's Drewbles with GeekTyrant. I'm here to talk to you about CinemaCon 2017. I went to the trade show and I checked out some of the cool technologies that they had expositioning there. We saw all the cool 4D stuff, which is essentially all the immersive technology that they had going on. Specifically, they had rumble seats, whole rows of seats that were going to do stuff, and they also had VR technology incorporated into some of the stuff that I saw. I had the chance to go to see several things, but the three that really stood out to me were 4D eMotion by Luma, 4DX, and MediaMation. 4DX definitely had the biggest presentation to offer. They had two different experiences that you could have. One was a group setting where they had seats that would sway, move, pivot all over as you watched the trailers that they showed us. The other experience was a VR experience, and they had two of those, but I only tried one, and it was one where I actually got on a bike frame and was able to experience this whole, it felt just like a ride you would get at an amusement park, but obviously a bit more personalized and everything, but it just took me through, and I essentially got to feel the different effects of going through this whole thing. I also had the VR headset so I could look around, I was checking everything out, but it was really intense. The technology's there, but what they did with it was something we pretty much have already seen, but it was interesting to be able to get onto a bike frame for this whole thing. The group experience I had at 4DX was with 7 other people. We had 8 seats, 2 rows, and they were sort of attached to one another. And we saw 3 trailers, but one of which was Parts of the Caribbean. And they had this cool effect where it felt like I was on a boat, rocking back and forth, and the group in front of me was at a different pace. So it was like we were kind of doing this whole opposite effect thing. It was really cool, and it definitely created an illusion of being on the boat and everything. And then obviously when the ships hit and we're getting gunfires, we got a little bit more jostle and everything like that. Next, I was at MediaMation, and they actually got their start with theme parks and rides, and they decided to start putting that into real theaters as opposed to just some of the ones that you might go to, say at Disneyland or Universal Studios. They offered something really similar to 4DX, but they also had more, I would say, intense, third options that were sort of put in there, like that air that would blow in from the back of your head, and they also had mist and stuff that was kind of blowing up in your face or coming down on you. And they all offered that experience, but they seem to have it more incorporated into the seats as opposed to being an atmosphere effect that came down when I was in the 4DX. I saw a scene from Star Trek, and when the engines were coming off and everything, they had this mist that just came right up at me. It was great. Now, 4D eMotion by Luma was actually a really cool experience. They had a smaller booth, very unassuming, just 4 chairs that just kind of swayed in place with everything else. But what they had going on for them, in my opinion, was really cool. They actually got the studios to get final approval of what their motions were to the rest of the screen, what the action was on the screen. And I have to say, they nailed it. They actually got the feel of when something blew up, it didn't just feel rumbling, just tossing all over the place. We saw the trailer for Cars 3, and I felt it when Lightning McQueen was in that wreck when his tire blows and he's flipping through the air and stuff like that. The way they got it to move and shake, it was actually really cool. And like I said, it was a very unassuming booth. It was just the little thing, little TV, nothing was enclosed like the other 2 booths I went to. But they was really well done, and I think that's where they are going to possibly pull ahead if this thing starts taking off. The other one I got to go see was brought to us by IMAX and The Mummy, and it had these little egg pods that you kind of see in Men in Black and everything. And you got in that, you put on the VR headset and everything, and it was a more individualized experience because the seats weren't connected to one another. They were their own individual stuff and everything. Obviously, it was really cool, but at the same time, I wish I saw something else, because what they showed, while interesting, was a behind the scenes of how they did the zero gravity effect in the Mummy trailer that you see with Tom Cruise, and he's trying to put the parachute on the woman and stuff like that we see. Like I said, super cool, and they showed it they actually do zero G and everything. They do the whole, whatever that thing is with astronauts and stuff. But they did that, and when that happened, your seat kind of did this whole oh, you're floating, and it kind of cradled you and everything. And while cool, again, it just didn't really put me in the situation. It just sort of said, oh, here, isn't this nice? It was more pleasant. But I really wish, because after the whole back behind the scenes thing, I really expected to get like that scene, but shot in the 3D, you know, reality and stuff like that, that would just sort of take me through it. But it didn't, and that really disappointed me, because, I mean, it didn't showcase the technology, like what it really could do. I mean, it kind of did, but it really didn't. All in all, 4D technology is definitely trying to make a dent into the cinema, where 3D technologies are starting to wane. And again, just the whole experience I had at CinemaCon was they're trying to maintain the relevancy of the theater. And for me, it's like, I mean, is that really a question? Do they really need to worry about that? Yes, people are streaming things more and more on their phones, their tablets, their devices. But the experience of going to the theaters is not just like going to watch a movie. It's going with your friends, your family, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, 4D, super fun. But I'm gonna say it, super fun in small doses. So will I be paying that extra, who knows, 10, 20 bucks more just for an experience that's gonna jostle me about? Maybe if the people at 4D have the technology, but everybody else, gotta step up your game a little bit. Hey everybody, had a blast making this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, we're going to be putting more on GeekTyrant.com, as well as my own YouTube channel, Drewbles. And be sure to stick around, because we got more coming up from other cons, and more videos coming out from myself, as well as the GeekTyrant crew. Well everybody, I sure enjoyed my, you're right Joey, signing off is hard. We'll see you later guys.